So here's the next part of our discussion.
Child, which is what you're kind of saying, really. They're not going to have that experience. Yeah. So it's a really important point that you've brought up. And
community together, just pull the community together, because it makes it so. I know when we all, sit down for dinner in May when I'm there, and we'll talk about it. So, because my experience is, everybody's experiences. We have been, this was Jonathan and I talk a lot, and so I'm very passionate about this. We have all been globbed into this one group. We're all adopted. We're all adoptees. Okay. But each of our journey is very, very different. Now, the most important thing is that we need each other to understand each other. No one's gonna understand Jonathan better than me, and vice versa. And him and I talk a lot, because we understand each other. But I mean, dude, I'm feeling like this, or I'm experiencing this or everything that happened in the beginning of my life is affecting everything now. And when people tell me to get over it, that is the worst thing to say. You've not walked in my shoes. You don't know. You don't know. So I think it's really important. I would love to have all you guys on my show too, Jonathan, because I think this is a discussion that needs to happen. I think it will help many, many adoptees. But Karina, you're not alone. And I admire and I give you a standing ovation for you wanting to do this now to understand. It's the same thing like my friends call me, like, oh, I'm going through all these questions are coming up. Rach, can you come over and can you sit down and talk to us about it? I give you a standing ovation for you doing it now, because later in life, he's going to thank you for it.
Rachel, so things that happened earlier in your life are still affecting your life now. Do you mean generally having a negative impact or a positive impact for you? Because the reason I asked the question is because how can we know what it would have been otherwise? But you must have a perspective in your own mind.
I do. I do. My face is one. I have a perspective that you don't dump a kid. And you guys missed the beginning of the conversation because we were talking about the importance of adoption. We were talking about how many children are in homes and how children need to be adopted through the foster care system. We were talking about the beauty of that. And I do a lot of work with that too. I'm helping I volunteer and help organizations. What I'm saying is that how do you do that? And then walk away and go, bye-bye, you're on your own. I just messed you up for the rest of your life because I gave you separations, I gave you abandonment issues, I gave you trust issues, I gave you X, Y, and Z. And the other mistake people make with adoptees is you have your biological family, you have your adoptive family, two separate families, and for some reason they're always pushed together. So my family that raised me, they're very supportive. They're 1,000% supportive of me going for my roots. So every time I'm in India, I search more of my roots, and they are 1,000% behind me, and that has been huge for me. Their support has been, they're like, that's your journey. Whatever you want to search those roots, and they're 1,000% behind. But that family doesn't, two separate families, for some reason, it's always they're put together. I'm like, no.
And that's one of the expectations that we talked about earlier. And the interesting thing, so Zen, I'm going to come to you next, is this. So I read a book a couple of years ago, What Matters Most, and basically it said that for the first half of your life, you're living the life as determined by your parents, and then you get to midlife, and you start a new life, which is what you are passionate about generally. And so, yeah, the effect it's had on you, do you see it as being negative? It sounds like, because you're saying, look, you shouldn't walk away and leave a baby. What the hell? Mother or father?
Are you asking Zen? I'm sorry.
Come back for the next part of this discussion.